Hey guys, welcome once again. Decided to make another video. I had some things to get off my chest about what's going on with WWE. Had a few topics that I wanted to discuss with you guys. As always, we got this bad boy here. In my last video, you seen me with this one. My birthday was just last Sunday, and the wife hooked me up with this bad boy. So now I got two. I'll be taking both of these to WrestleMania 35 this year, so if you see me, holler at me. Speaking of WrestleMania 35, I've been getting a lot of emails. As you know, from my last video, I did get the travel packages. I got the gold one, so I'll be sitting fairly close. Hopefully they put us dead center, but we'll know probably around March sometime. But like I said, I've been getting some emails, and from what the emails that I've been receiving, looks like they changed NXT from Saturday to Friday. I'm hearing a lot of things, a lot of rumblings going around about maybe that's The Rock's influence, that they're going to have him for the Hall of Fame, and maybe even a match at WrestleMania, but that's just rumor at this time. I guess the rumor going around was that he was supposed to be facing Roman Reigns and that he was going to be winning the Royal Rumble. But as you all know, Roman Reigns is out of action right now with battling leukemia, so prayers up for him. So we don't know what The Rock's going to be doing. He has a busy schedule. He's making all these movies, so we just don't know. But again, I've also been getting some emails about my trip. We found out that we're going to be staying in Times Square for the hotel for the travel packages, and my questions were, because me and the wife got our plane tickets back in May, and we're going to be flying into the Newark, New Jersey airport. So how do you get from Newark, New Jersey to Times Square? That's my question. Can you take the train, the subway? Do you do it on a ferry? Or, how do you get across from Newark to Times Square? And then what's the travel time from Times Square to Brooklyn? Because everything's going to be in Brooklyn this year. The Hall of Fame, NXT, all of Access is going to be at Brooklyn. So just had some questions regarding that. How do you get around in New York? My wife just came back from New York. She did a day trip, with her family, and from what she was saying, it was a shit show. Just international travelers everywhere, trying to get around. The subway was crazy. So we had some thoughts on that. Moving on, I wanted to discuss what you guys thought the WrestleMania 35 main event would be. Should the men main event or should the women? I know a lot of people have been talking about possibly Ronda Rousey going up against Becky Lynch, or maybe there's going to be a triple threat with Ronda Rousey taking on Becky Lynch and Charlotte. We just don't know. Are you going to throw Nia Jax in there? I certainly hope not. I'd like to see a one-on-one match between Charlotte and Ronda Rousey again. I thought the last time they fought, it was a great match. I kind of think Becky Lynch has lost a little bit of her steam since she got her face broken by Nia Jax. Nia Jax has been getting a lot of heat for that. And I think accidents happen, but, she has hurt a few other ladies in the ring, being careless. From what I've been, seeing. So I think that, she should be one of the main events. I don't think that she should be the main event to go on last, speaking about Ronda Rousey. I just think that, for WrestleMania 35, the men should main event. I feel like they've lost a bit of their steam because 2018 has been all about the women. The first ever this, the first ever that. First ever Hell in a Cell they had back in 2017. First ever Money in the Bank ladder match. First ever Royal Rumble match for women. So and I feel like that they needed that. It was about time. However, for WrestleMania 35, I feel like the men should main event that. I don't know who the main event's going to be. There's a lot of matches, a lot of fantasy booking going on. Maybe Brock versus Rock, or Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. Who knows? We're not sure yet. We got about 4 to 5 months until WrestleMania, so we'll see. I wanted to talk about what you guys' thoughts on TLC was last night. Now, for the last, I'd say, month or so, mainly even all of 2018, like I said, it's been all about the women. They've been main eventing Raw, putting the women on last, and well deserved. But I feel like, the men have suffered because of it. There haven't been any stars that have been built. A lot of 50-50 booking going on. 1 minute, Braun Strowman's a good guy. 1 minute, he's, talking bad about the crowd. A lot of, same with Nia Jax. Ronda Rousey's been getting booed. Charlotte's been a good, good. Then next minute she's turning heel. So a lot of 50-50 booking that I don't understand. You have to have these monster heels. You got to have, someone that can take over and be the star. And I feel like Seth Rollins is ready. But then you have him lose. I'm just not understanding. But, we have to find out what's going to happen. But as far as last night, Asuka winning the TLC match versus Charlotte and Becky, I felt like she was due. I felt like it didn't hurt Charlotte or Becky Lynch, for either one of them losing, with Ronda coming out and causing them both the match. I felt like it was time for Asuka to, take over that title and get a run with it. I'm anxious to see what goes on for Royal Rumble, who's going to win the 30 women Royal Rumble match. So, I was happy that Asuka, went home with the title last night. Dean and Seth, they got This Is Boring chance last night, and I was a bit surprised. The match was a bit slow at times, but for them to get This Is Boring chance was surprising to me because Seth Rollins has had, match of the night pretty much every night that he steps into the ring. He is one of the best, if not the best wrestler right now. You can throw in AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, just in WWE I'm speaking of. So the This Is Boring chance surprised me. Dean walked out as the Intercontinental Champion, of course. If you haven't seen it, you should have paused it about 5 minutes ago. I'm anxious to see where they go from here. Are they going to put Seth Rollins into the Universal title picture now? Or are they going to keep having him feud with Dean Ambrose over the IC title? I'm hoping that he moves on. I know that he's been throwing a lot of shots at Brock Lesnar on Raw, so maybe they're, going to start that feud soon. I know Braun Strowman is going to be facing Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble because he won his match at TLC last night as well. So kind of anxious to see what's going to happen tonight on Raw with Mr. McMahon coming back to shake some things up. Are they going to fire Baron Corbin? Well, actually, he's already lost his GM control because he lost the match. So what's going to happen with Baron Corbin tonight? Are they going to make a new GM? Is Kurt Angle going to come back as the GM? We just don't know. But I'm anxious to see whenever Vince McMahon comes to the show, things get shaken up. So I'm anxious to see what's going to happen. I want to see some new stars being created though, bigger than life stars. Everybody's kind of mid card, and then there's Brock, and then there was Roman. Nobody is really on that level anymore. Everybody's just in the mid card level, and I'd like to see some stars made. Finn Balor beating Drew McIntyre. I didn't understand that. I felt like Drew McIntyre is the next guy to become a star. So I didn't understand him losing last night in that match. But I guess we'll find out tonight where that direction is going. I feel like as far as Finn Balor though, since he got his shoulder hurt winning the Universal title and he had to relinquish that, he was one of my favorite guys when he came in to NXT and then got brought up to the main roster. I was hoping that they were going to do big things with him, and they actually did. And then he got hurt, and then since then he's just hasn't been doing anything on the show. He's been losing here, then he'll win, and he hasn't even had a good run with any type of titles. I was thinking he would be in the IC title picture, move him to SmackDown or something. He's basically just been relegated to mid-card status, and he's one of the best in the world, in my opinion. The tag team triple threat. If you guys didn't know, the Usos are my favorite tag team right now. I just like what they're doing. I hope they go back to letting them talk on the mic, with the Uso Penitentiary and them having those promos. They've been cutting some great promos, and I really enjoyed listening to them, cut those promos. So, give them the mic back and let them cut those promos on whoever they're wrestling. That's was great TV for SmackDown. But I was hoping that they would have taken the titles last night. I understand why they didn't. But I feel like it's time for the Usos to be dominant. You need to have a dominant tag team instead of having the tag team titles go back and forth between the Usos, the New Day, and the Bar. If you're going to have the Bar win, keep the titles. Let them keep it for a while so that they can establish some type of dominance. But me wanting the Usos to win is just, my personal preference. But, I wasn't either way. The Bar winning, the Usos or the New Day, either one of them could have walked out of there. They're great together. So Ronda versus Nia Jax with Tamina. I was expecting Ronda to win, even with Tamina there. She really didn't do anything to sway the match back and forth. I felt like Nia Jax put on a better performance. It was a good match. Ronda is showing that she does have some, better wrestling skills each time she steps into the ring. I was hoping that Tamina would have got involved more, and maybe even Becky Lynch would have came out and maybe caused Ronda to lose, or even Charlotte. I was hoping that they would have done something like that, but they didn't. Ronda Rousey went over clean, so it was a great match. We'll see what happens, going forward, with them. Where's Nia Jax going to go? Are they going to go with Nia Jax and Tamina, in this tag team division, going forward? When are they going to start the women's tag team championships? Are they going to bring those in? Speaking of, off topic, off of TLC, how in the hell do you leave Sasha Banks out of any world title picture? I just don't understand it. She's been relegated to teaming with Bayley, and no disrespect to Bayley. I love Bayley. I feel like she should be in the title picture as well. But I feel like Sasha Banks is the best women's wrestler in the world right now, and she's not even on the card. And to me, that's a disgrace because, like I said, she's one of the best wrestlers out there. So, and a lot, and I'm not just saying that myself. A lot of the WWE wrestlers are saying that as well. So leaving her off the card and not even having her involved in any type of storylines, it's kind of weird to me. I didn't understand it. The Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy match, two great competitors. They put it on the pre-show, and as I'm watching this, I'm looking at the crowd, and it's kind of empty, and I'm like, you got to have more eyes put on this match because these are two of the best that's going on in 205 Live. Buddy Murphy came from NXT. He was a part of a tag team back down there, and now he's getting his chance to show what he can do finally. And Cedric Alexander, he's just a great all-around performer, so I'm glad that he's getting his opportunity. I wish they wouldn't have put it on the pre-show, though, because more eyes need to see these guys wrestle, and they're very entertaining. So Daniel Bryan versus AJ. I'm glad that there weren't any type of shenanigans going on as far as, Daniel Bryan cheating or anything like that. I felt like he needed to go over AJ clean to establish that he can do that without having to do any low blows or cheating or anything like that. And I feel like, it's time, since he's beaten him twice, it's time for Daniel Bryan to move on. But where's AJ Styles going to go? Is he going to go on to the Royal Rumble? Is he going to win that? What about Samoa Joe? How's he going to fit into all that? I know that he was battling Jeff Hardy at one time. So it's going to be interesting to see where AJ Styles goes from here and where Daniel Bryan goes. Daniel Bryan, this new Daniel Bryan, I'm loving it. I felt like the Yes movement, has been over for a long time, so I'm glad that we're finally deading that. There's only so many times where you can throw your fingers up in the air and say yes, yes, yes. It's time to move on from that. So I thought all in all, the pay-per-view was probably the best pay-per-view of the year, in my opinion. It was smooth. There weren't any bad flaws in any matches that I saw, except for the Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins match. It was a bit slow for me, like I said. But I felt like, this was one of the best pay-per-views of the year, if not the best, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't have any issues with any matches or any outcomes whatsoever. And, like I said, I felt like it was one of the best pay-per-views of the year. A lot of people, may disagree, and that's fine. That's your opinion. You know, I'm just on here just giving my opinion, guys. If you agree, you know, or disagree, that's, you know, your prerogative, you know. So looking back on 2018, like I said, I felt like it was all about the women, and well deserved. Hopefully we can get, you know, the men back on track as well, so that we can get some more steam. Like the ratings for 2018 have been at an all-time low, and I feel like it could have been due to, you know, a lot of focus being put on the women and forgetting about the men and the storylines. And I feel like the writers are just being lazy. You know, they're not making it exciting. You know, and I've been watching wrestling, you know, way back in the AWA, WCCW days, and, you know, when you had the Freebirds and, you know, all of those guys. I'm not going to, you know, spew off a bunch of names, but I've been watching wrestling for 35 years, and this is by far the lowest ratings that I've seen as far as wrestling. And there is, you know, it's been pretty stale. You know, they need to pick it up. The writers need to get their heads out of their asses and start doing what they need to do to bring in the casual fans. You know, the loyal fans like myself, we're always going to be here. But if you want the, you know, the casual fans to tune in, you got to start making it exciting. You got to, you know, get some buzz going, you know. So hopefully they can do that in 2009. Looking forward, you know, we can get back to creating some stars, making it about the men. I know that in 2019 there's been rumblings about having a Queen of the Ring, you know, bringing that back, because I know they had the King of the Ring at one time, and, you know, maybe they're going to have the Queen of the Ring. As you can hear, my coffee maker's going off, so we'll see. I'm looking forward to, you know, getting my WrestleMania travel package. I will be doing a video about that, you know, the unboxing. That'll be coming in March. I'll be taking off for WrestleMania in April, that Friday, the weekend before. So if you see me, guys, say what's up. Don't be afraid to come and say, you know, how's it going? You know, I'll be out there with the wife, both my belts on each shoulder. I'll have on a wrestling shirt. You know, I'll be decked from, you know, in wrestling gear from head to toe. And yeah, signing off. But thanks you guys for tuning in. Feel free to hit that subscribe button. All the comments are welcome, you know, good or bad. I appreciate you guys following. Yeah, I appreciate you listening. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Until next time, holler at you.